I got this picture of this fingers with these claws, on my car. And, I'm sitting there, and this is me thinking, this thing, what was seen over at the park, was probably watching me what I was doing. I urinated, thought I was weak because of my urine, and was able to pick my scent up and come to where my house is. But here's the weird part of it. People kept seeing a wolf in the neighborhood. Okay. And 2 days after the incident on the paw print, the lady from the Historical Society called me and says, "Did you hear the news?" I'm like, "No." They said the DNR killed a wolf.
Welcome back to the Eye of Jupiter podcast. I'm your host, Tom Franklin, and today we have him back on, ladies and gentlemen. We have the founder of the North American Dogman Project, Joedy Cook, with us again today, and we're going to get into some paranormal things that he's done. He was a paranormal investigator. He's had experiences, and I did offer him to come back on, and he's on with us, so that's awesome. If it's your first time here, please do me a favor. Hopefully I earn your subscription today, and you can also like it, share it, and go ahead and hit that bell notification. If you are subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. And all those people who are subscribed, thank you so very much. All the links down in the description below. You can contact me if you have a story, if you have something you want to talk to me about, at the Eye of Jupiter podcast at gmail.com. With all that out of the way, let's welcome back to the Eye of Jupiter, Mr. Joedy Cook. Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Good. Oh, I'm okay, man. It's been a long day and a lot of tutoring. You wouldn't think it's tiresome, but when you have to speak two other languages and help people conjugate verbs and pronounce things, in an American way and fashion, it does get taxing sometimes. But other than that, man, I'm living the dream. I work from home, and it's pretty cool. How about yourself?
Yeah. I'm retired, so I'm good.
I'm on my way, buddy. I'm on my way, man.
I'm retired. So
I finally got some pretty good news that the military is actually going to give me some compensation for my back. So that's going to start beginning of this month coming up here. I had a battle with them for, oh Lord, I think 3 years to try to get that going, and it's still not completely done, but there's things in the work, and there's a little bit of light on the end of the tunnel. So I can see a chiropractor, and once in a while,
the VA system,
see a physical therapist in my back work going. And
I go through the VA
with a couple of
stuff, and they're, they work more against you, I think, than they do trying to get you taken care of.
Yeah, they need to do that a little bit more. I agree. I agree that it should be quicker. You know what I mean? There are fraudsters out there. I do agree with that. But at the same time, all you have to do is just make it a little bit faster so the people who are in need can get the assistance that they need. My personal belief. All right, Jody. Tell everybody, I mean, if people don't know who you are by now, I'm sure many people do who watch the show. But for anyone who's the first time here, please tell us a little bit about yourself and, where we can find you.
Well, I'm the founder of the North American Dogman Project. I've been doing cryptid research probably for about 30 years. I did take a break in between there. I was doing some paranormal and some ufology stuff, kind of like break it up a little bit. But my real passion right now is the Dogman phenomenon, doing the research on that and doing field work and things like that. It's great. It's a really good subject. It's the new cryptid that's getting a lot more notoriety. Bigfoot used to be the big thing, but now, Dogman stuff is just it's blowing things up. We're getting 5,000 views a month on our website.
Yeah. So, people are starting to come out about it. So I wanted to actually tell you about a story. I had on a gentleman the other day. I can't think of his name right now. It'll come to me in a second. He came on, and he's He's also he started with the paranormal and he got into the cryptid later. Has been seeing it his whole life. And where was it? Which date was that? What day was that? Oh, Matt Harvey. He's from the Deep Woods podcast, and
Mhm.
he was telling me a story about two Air Force officers. They were off duty. They knew nothing about Dogman. They had no idea, and it's just not, it wasn't on their radar. It's just something they didn't know about. They were off duty. They decided their friends, Air Force pilots, let's go, take a hike. So it's outside of Dallas somewhere, it's in the outskirts of Dallas, and they take a hike. They're carrying their sidearms with them, and they hear this rustle in the bush. This thing comes out. They ended up taking it down. 32 shots. The guy came on and told him, all secretive. You can't say my name. Gives sure I'll protect you and all that, which is very important. So they never seen this thing before. They actually took some samples, drug the thing off the road, and then as they're coming down off the mountain, two helicopters came in. People repelled out of the helicopters, and they then go down to the bottom where the car was. There was military police waiting for them, and they said they started threatening them with their careers, and they also said that you took one of our assets. It's just one of the damnedest stories I've heard. Have you? I'm
Mhm.
sure you of things like this. What can you say to something like that, Jody?
I'm going to be honest with you, and this whole, I mean, you know, these stories out there about all these people, having all these brush, with federal agents and stuff. You took my asset and all that stuff. I'm sorry. I mean, this is me personally. Okay,
That's fine, Jody. Fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
I think it's bull crap.
Okay.
Okay, and I've had two encounters with the federal government dealing with Dogman. Two of them.
Okay.
Okay, and both of them were 100% positive and 100%, you know, beneficial.
Okay.
Okay, so I was never threatened, um, or anything like that, whatsoever, by the federal government. Um, but like I said, I mean, this whole thing that Dogman is an asset. I can't buy into the fact that the federal government is, you know, creating these things in a lab and then putting them out, knowing that they're going to take human life. Okay. Um, Now, with that being said, I can see the government weaponizing something for warfare. Okay. Um, but I can also see the federal government, you know, killing people, just,
Unaliving people, yes.
yeah, unalive people
Hmm.
just to see how a product works.
Well, yeah, that's
Okay.
Project Montauk. I mean, you name it. The Lyme disease, the Lone Star tick. There's so
Yeah.
many little things that we could go into
Yeah.
where they've, Tuskegee
Yeah.
Airments. I mean,
Yeah.
all of them.
They did. And, the thing was, like I said, I just can't, the fact that, they took this thing out and then all of a sudden the federal government shows up. Okay. Um, I, I don't know. I have a really hard time. I mean, you have to say I've been doing this for 30 years.
Fair enough.
I've heard everything.
I'm sure you
Okay.
have.
I'm not kidding. I've heard every aspect of Dogman, Bigfoot, and all this other stuff. I hear all these people that had really bad run-ins with the government. You know, um, I've never had. I've never been in that position. Like you said, I've had two, face to face, with a government agency, about Dogman, and they were 100% positive. No threats whatsoever. I mean, one of them actually came to me,
Yeah.
a, a Dogman. You know,
I've heard of this too.
yeah,
I've
and
heard of people doing that. Hmm.
yeah, where they came to me for ask my advice on something, where they had photograph evidence and things like that. You
Yeah.
know, um, but I After, I don't know if you ever heard, there's the massacre of Land Between the Lakes. Okay.
Yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
All right. There's a guy came out of freaking nowhere, and he came up with the name Roger, where he swore he was the only survivor of the massacre. Okay. And this guy, this guy is so convincing. Okay. You can tell he's extremely intelligent individual. Okay. But it's a fake story. Everybody knows it's a fake story. But when you're listening to it, it convinces you that he was actually there until you have to stop and realize, wait a minute, I've been investigating LBL since 1987.
Wow.
Okay. And I've talked to witnesses, law enforcement, guys who said they were there. And I don't know if you ever remember J.C. Johnson.
No, sir.
Well, he passed away probably 5 years ago, but he's like the original investigator on LBL. Now, this guy knew everybody. He knew everybody at LBL. He knew the ins and outs of what happened on that massacre. Okay. And if there was a survivor, he would know. He would be the only person that would know. Okay. And then when we did our LBL documentary, J.C. Johnson was interviewed about LBL. And like I said, he never mentioned it. No one, I can say there's probably 5 people that's got 100 years experience together. Okay. Research on LBL. Okay. 5 guys, and I'm one of them. Okay. And none of us have ever heard of a survivor. And we had connections and all this stuff. And see, ever since that guy came forward with his story, okay, I just can't believe all these other stories, where these people come and they talk about, federal government got me because I killed an asset, or I hit them with my truck and they come out of nowhere and you killed my asset. I mean, it's just too hard to swallow, I'm not calling anyone a liar and stuff, but I just, there's don't BS a BS artist. Okay. All right. Is the best way to say, best way.
Well, it's just difficult to discern, Jody. It's difficult to discern. I mean, if you have a show like mine where, say, for example, there's somebody on here and I'm just, even if I'm 100% dead set and the person lying to me, then I just won't release that episode. But there's somebody where it's kind of on the fence for me. I'm not going to call them out on the show because there's people who really do have experiences who would then be afraid to come forward, So it's kind of like it's a very awkward position to be in as a host of a show like this.
Well, one thing I learned from investigating, okay, everybody embellishes the story, okay, to a point. Not full embellish it, but just here and there, okay? And they keep changing the story a little bit each time they tell it, okay? It's not meaning that they're lying. It's just they're finding the correct word that makes it sound more interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you get people like, the story about these 2 guys that shot it and people were rappelling from helicopters and stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, maybe there was a helicopter. Maybe they did get confronted by somebody. Okay. Maybe, the conversation dealt with the discharging of the weapons. Okay. That all might be true, but they just kind of like threw in a little bit of stuff.
Well, I mean, even like whether we like it or not, until there's like some type of like, irrefutable scientific evidence, we even know that through police situations.
Well,
5 people can see the same thing happen and have different accounts
right. I mean, these things exist. I've seen
of it,
one.
so it's
I
hard.
know they exist. Okay, and when people say they see them, I believe them because I know they exist. Okay, but what I'm saying is I just I guess it because like I said, my 2 encounters that I had with the federal government, you know, were positive. Doesn't mean I guess that my next one may not,
Oh,
but but like I
yeah,
said, um we get a lot of good stuff. Okay.
yeah,
Um and there's stuff we don't release and the stuff that we do release. Um but we just never got to the point where we had threats or our stuff was compromised or something like that.
hmm
You know, in my opinion, I think why they're not screwing with us is because we're gathering the information for them.
okay,
We're not we're not doing it for them, but you know they see us what we're doing, and I'm sure they're monitoring what we're doing, and they're able to see what we
of
have
course,
that other people don't
of
see.
course,
So basically, we're doing their job for them, and I guess that's why
yeah.
they're not screwing with us. Okay.
Yeah, I had another gentleman come on, and he was known in the area as a fisherman and a hunter. And a DNR came up to him and said, "Man, we need to talk to you." And they wouldn't say it. You know what I mean? They were kind of like,
Mhm.
"There's a thing that we know that you kind of know about, and we want you to come out and look at some stuff." And it was pretty incredible. There was like a horse situation. And so, but they were very positive. So, what do you know about this? He's like, "What do I know about what?" And they kind of had to kind of play this cat and mouse game, but it wasn't an overall negative experience. It was more like, "Hey, what do you know about this?" And he was just kind of like, "I can't really tell you." So it's one of those things too where, and it's DNR is kind of low level government, I guess you would say, but
Mhm.
nonetheless, for safety and all those kind of things, they wanted to know. And it was quite an interesting tale. But I have heard other people who've said things where it was like, yeah, things happen. There's freaking black truck out in front of my damn thing, and they've written me, and I just go,
Well,
okay,
I've had that before. I mean, before my 2 encounters with the federal government, I've had black SUVs sit out in front of my house at night.
whoa, that's
You know,
crazy though. That's
yeah,
crazy, isn't it?
yeah.
Isn't it
I mean,
bothersome?
well, here's one incident. Um, uh, my I was leaving for VA one morning. Okay, now it was my male German Shepherd, 155 pounds, huge dog, not afraid of anybody.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, gotcha, buddy.
so so our couch is up against a large bay window, so he gets up on the couch, so he looks out. Okay, barks at anybody that walks by. This is my neighborhood. What are you doing here? Type deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go out, start the car. I realize I left my wallet. Okay, you know, uh, pull my house key off, leave the car running because it was a cold morning. Walk into my house. My dog is sitting on the couch, looking out the big bay window. I walk in from the living room into the kitchen, grab my wallet, walk back into the living room. My dog is literally on the freaking ground, just literally on the ground like
Like
this.
cowering,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, literally cowering. Okay, and I'm like, what? Get up. What's wrong? All this other stuff. My car's
Mhm.
gone. Okay, my car's gone. I'm like, oh crap!
What the
Someone
fuck?
someone stole my car. So I'm embarrassed, right? So I got to call the police now. Okay, so I called the police, and no one could show up because there was a active shooter situation going on, and all the police were over there.
Okay.
Well, we'll get back to that part in a minute. So, um, think about 9 o'clock. This is like 7:30 in the morning. So they show up at 9. And the cop goes, okay, what happened? And I said, listen, I know I left the keys in the car. I was only for like a second and it was gone. Okay. And he goes, what kind of car you got? I explained to him, what kind of car I had. And he goes, I saw that this morning. And he goes, I think I know where it is. Come with me. So I'm in the backseat of the street, police car going down the street, 2 miles down the road. Our street's like 2 miles long. Okay. And there's my car sitting off the side of the road with the key still in it. And he goes, when we had this active shooter this morning, I was in the neighborhood and I drove by and I saw your car there with a DNR vehicle and DNR guys standing around the car. So I didn't think anything of it. I just waved at them. They waved back. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, was it them that took my car? And I'm thinking, yeah, they probably took my car, but here's the thing, my dog would have went off, okay,
Right, that is weird.
And he didn't, and he was cowering, and I was doing a little bit of research, and I found out that the Department of Agriculture, U.S. Forestry says they have a device that puts off sound where they can push bears back and push wolves back. No one can hear it except for them. It's like just so much of a high pitch, and it like puts them, freezes them more or less. And I'm like, man, that's probably what they did to my dog. They had a device, they turned it on, my dog went down, and because it like I said, it's strange. My dog did not go off because I like I'm telling you, anybody walks down the street, he is going back crap crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when this situation happened, it was weird. But I don't know if I told you the story, but kind of what led up to that incident was there was a report of a dog man over at the park across the street from where I live.
Okay.
So talked to the witnesses. They took me over. They showed me where this back trail where this deer comes up from the river, runs across the trail, and this dog man just runs. I mean, just totally ignores them and the dog they had. Now, the dog sent it first because the dog was acting crazy. And the dog man kind of like ran after the deer. Okay. So they took off. So they took me up there the day after the sighting. Now, how I found about about the sighting was we have a statue at the end of our street, which is a fountain with a Native American on it because of the tribe that used to live there. And on the fountain, there's faces on each side. That's a werewolf's face, which is really odd. And this was like put there in the 1930s.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it's really odd. So I called the historical society and I said, hey, can you tell me, why this fountain has werewolves faces on it? And they're like, we don't know. Everybody keeps asking. And she goes, maybe there's werewolves. And I'm like, yeah, it could be. And she goes, why are you asking? I say, well, this is what I do. And she goes,
right.
My best friend yesterday was walking with her husband and dog, and they seen this werewolf over at the park. I said, you got to put me in contact with them. So I got in contact with them, and they, like you said, they took me over there. So, and they said, look, this is where it happened. This is where it came up. That's where it went. We're leaving. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I found two really beautiful tracks. One is large like a hand, it's just four fingers, but it really looks like a hand with a thumb. It's really odd looking, and a regular back paw. And so I made castings of them. Okay, so I had to go to the bathroom really bad, and the bathrooms are like way at the other end of the sorry, and so no one was around, so I took a leak. Right now, I've got chronic kidney disease.
Okay.
So I only have one kidney. Okay. I didn't know this
At the time.
until my injury in Iraq. that I only had one kidney.
Oh,
So I got the cast, and I went home. So the next day, my wife is leaving for work at 5 a.m. She calls me and she says, because I take my dog out to walk. She says, if you go out, walking Max, you know, let me know if you see all those SUVs blocking the entrance to the park. They're blocking both entrances.
whoa.
So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I walk Max. We see him, and that was kind of it. So the next day, I get out and I walk in my dog. Okay, now we get out, went down the front yard, walked up to where the next house is, and he stops, and he's just looking straight ahead. Now the street kind of goes like this, and then it veers off, to the left. Okay.
Right.
And there's like a kind of a house that sits kind of like right there in the middle where it kind of veers off, and there's like a really large tree there. And this car goes by, and his lights, brake lights come on, and the headlights come on, and you see this like dark object like right there by the tree, and then you see him just haul butt.
But yeah.
Okay, if he went from brake to just, he saw what was there. So Max wouldn't go any further. Okay. And he kept wanting to go back to the house. And I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? You're not afraid of anything. What is wrong? So for about 3, maybe 4 days, he would not leave the yard when we would go for our walks in the morning. I mean, he would not leave. When I would put him out at night, he wouldn't go unless I was out there with him. So something spooked him so bad. Okay. And whatever it was down there, I don't know what it was. Okay. So one morning my wife left, and it was probably about a half hour later. Max is at the bay window, and he's going nuts. I mean, he's going freaking nuts. I look out, I don't see anything. I open the front door, I don't see nothing and stuff. And he's just growling, sitting there at the bay window growling. So like I said, I don't see anything. So I said, just relax, be a good dog. I want to lay down. Okay. So I laid down, and I got up, and I wanted to go get a cup of coffee. And I think I was getting ready to go to VA that day too. And when I walked out, and I noticed on my car, on the upper part of the door towards the roof, there was a paw print with claws, like a dog's paw print, like right there on, because it was, I guess it was still kind of cold, and where you have like the moist and stuff on your
Yeah,
paw.
yes.
Yeah.
The dew.
And the print was like right there. Okay. And something took a leak on the hood of my car, on like, yeah, because it ate the paint off.
What? The urine ate the paint off the.
Yeah, the urine,
Yeah.
paint off my freaking car. Like
That's crazy.
Like 2 days later and stuff. And I got this picture of this like, fingers with these claws, on my car. And I'm sitting there, and this is me thinking, this thing, what was seen over at the park, was probably watching me what I was doing. I urinated, thought I was weak because of my urine, and was able to pick my scent up and come to where my house is. Okay. And he was in the neighborhood there, and he kept coming in the neighborhood. But here's the weird part of it. People kept seeing a wolf in the neighborhood. Okay. And 2 days after the incident on the paw print, the lady from the Historical Society called me and says, "Did you hear the news?" And I'm like, "No." They said the DNR killed a wolf. And I'm like, "A wolf?"
Wolf. What state are you in, Jody?
I'm in Ohio, and we've got coyotes.
Yeah.
And stuff, but we don't have we don't have wolves here.
Right.
Okay, we got coyotes, we got coy dogs, you know. But yeah, it was weird, man.
Did you ever call the DNR about your car? And I would be remiss if I didn't ask that. You know, the policeman said he's seen him standing by the car.
Well,
Did you ever call them?
here's my no, I didn't. And the thing of it is, they would have denied it anyhow.
Okay.
Okay, they would have said, "Oh yeah, we were in the neighborhood. You know, we were out looking for something. We just happened to stand by your car, but we didn't see you took it." You know, the police would not even come out. I talked to a police detective about it because I filed a report, but the police detective would not even come out to do fingerprints or anything. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Nothing was taken from the car, but it's just like, why wouldn't you want to do fingerprints? I mean,
2 miles. 2 miles, you said.
It's the system, but get back to what I was saying earlier about, these people having these strange, encounters and stuff like that. The government does screw with you and they will screw with you. But when they talk about, when they use the word asset, okay,
that's like a buzzword. It's like a buzzword for you.
It's a buzzword for me,
Okay.
And stuff, because I don't think these things are assets. I think they know what it is. They know it's an apex predator, but I don't know. It's just,
all right.
I just have a really hard time.
Fair enough, man. I understand. I mean, there's nothing wrong with healthy skepticism. Let's get everything out there. All the cards on the table. Yes.
Right. What people don't realize, and you're going to find a lot on researchers, they're not skeptic at all. You have to be skeptic, because like when I have something, okay, I have to think about, okay, if there was a cryptid court and I had to present my evidence, could I persuade that jury?
That's an interesting point of view. Okay. I love that.
Right. And that's the way you have to look at it. Okay. And that's what makes, a good researcher. I'm not an expert. I'm far from being an expert because I'm still learning. But, you have to be, 60-70% skeptic when you go out in the field. Okay.
Of course.
And when you do research and
well, there has to be some type of scientific rigor to what you're doing. I mean, experiences are experiences. You go out there, you see something that's supposedly not supposed to exist. It's kind of like a fear thing, and then of course the mind starts making things to try to rationalize what you see and all these kind of things. Mm-hmm. But if you're a person who is just interested in it and devotes their time to it, I agree with what you're saying. How if you were to try to persuade somebody, of course, the scientific method would be what you use. I understand that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Jody, let's make a little bit of a left turn here. Let's get into your other interests, ufology and paranormal research. What can you tell me about what you've been doing or what you've experienced?
Oh, God. Ufology was like the very first thing I got into. Okay. I was really into it. I spoke with a lot of different people who were abducted, people who have had a lot of sightings and things like that. I really fell in love with it, but you have to say this is like pre-internet, and things like that. So you actually had to do work and research, go to the library, look at newspaper articles, research on getting someone's name out of the phone book and find out if they're the right.
Oh, wow, yeah, the white pages.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was research, and it was interesting, and I really loved it. We had this TV show that we did called UFO Update Live. Okay, and it was on public access TV, and this was before cable.
Wow, that is cool, man.
Yeah, and this is back in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, I can remember some of that.
Yeah, and it ran for about 10 years. And it was the first Wednesday of every month. We had a guest on there or two, and you could call in and ask the guest
Oh yeah,
questions
man.
and stuff. I mean, it was fun. And just you learn so much, and you were able to get a whole lot of a lot of people and get your contacts, and get the research done the way it really needed to be done. And that's where from that show, that's how I fell into the cryptid stuff, because we were getting a lot of cryptid sightings, mostly Bigfoot and so forth. And I kind of, went towards that and like, oh, this is something neat. Still did the ufology stuff. I was putting so much time into the Bigfoot stuff. I got so far away from the ufology stuff,
Okay.
and the Bigfoot stuff was really fun. The field really turned into a clique and a buddy system and things like that. And then I had a friend that was a paranormal investigator, says, hey, won't you want to ghost hunt with me? And that was fun. We went to South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee. It was an old abandoned hospital that had so much paranormal activity there. It was nuts, because my first night there, okay, that we were doing the investigation, we were up on I guess it was the third floor, and I got my recorder, and I'm just walking down the hall, and they had all the old abandoned rooms and everything, and I just happened to look over to my left, and there's a room with two beds. I'm walking kind of fast a little bit, right? And I just glanced as I was just getting past the door. I saw a little girl sitting on the bed,
I believe you, buddy.
you know. And
I've
I
had
jumped
paranormal
out.
experiences too, man. I've had
Right,
paranormal experiences, and I think most people have. Not
yeah,
everybody, or if they have them, they don't talk about them.
right.
Those things are so weird, man. Yeah, please. Those. I'm
But
not
this
saying I
is,
don't believe Dogman or Bigfoot. I do, because of my paranormal experiences.
yeah.
But when you say that to me, dude, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Because, and when I went back to look, there was a white mist where she was. So I grabbed my camera and I'm snapping. This white mist just went in the shape of a child, just went, you know, across to the other bed and like came like right towards me. Okay.
Oof,
Yeah.
dude.
So at the time I had my recorder on, and I don't hear anything, but I go back listening to my recorder at the time all that was happening. You hear her sing and tap down the hallway like hot, like Skip. I mean, it was like, man, are you freaking
I,
kidding me?
Dude, I was on my ranch. I never told you this, Joey. I bought 10 acres out here in the jungle, man. And there was a night, there's 2 nights, but the one in particular I want to talk about. I was in my hammock outside. I had this little, it's just a little room basically. And I added on like a summer kitchen and a little bathroom and a place where I can hang my hammock with mosquito netting around it in the middle of the jungle here in the Yucatan Peninsula. There's a lot of paranormal down here, especially in
Mhm.
the Yucatan. And I was sitting there one night, and this, I'm not trying to be, I'm not, Crocodile Dundee or nothing, but I get up to go to the bathroom in the morning, in about 3 a.m, and I look over and I see the snake inside of the cabin on one of the logs that I used to support this wall that I made out of corrugated metal. And I look over, there's a snake sitting there eating ants, right? I don't know if it's poisonous. I'm not from here. So I just took my machete and I just took care of it, right? My daughter's not that far away. My ex-wife is over there. I'm not, it's only literally 10 feet from me. I'm like, this, whatever. I go to lay back down in the hammock. So it's mosquito netting around me. Behind me, there's that corrugated metal, and then there's some more mosquito netting, and you can see the rest of my property. And I'm sitting there, Jody, and I was about to go to sleep, and something told me to look over, and on the wall where that snake was, there's this bluish white like circle, not an orb, but like a circle on the wall, like someone was shining a flashlight through a fish tank. It's the best way I can
Yeah.
describe it. It's like kind of squiggly, and then my brain just said, okay, someone's shining a flashlight. Where's the source coming from? I look down because it looks like it's coming from the floor, and then I don't see it. I look back up and it's gone. So I'm like, this is weird. And so I'm trying to go back to sleep. And about, I don't know, 10 minutes later, however long it takes you to get, I'm almost asleep. And behind me, outside of mosquito netting, about 30 yards away, I hear disembodied voices. Like not English, not Spanish, not German. These, I know the syntax of those, but it was female and it was weird. It was kind of like this. And I just said, hey, I'm not here to harm you. Don't harm me. I'm here to protect the land and take care of it. Don't bother me, because they have there's some Mayan rituals down here that they use to make these little like cherub like entities, like spirits that protect the corn and the land here. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it was. And after that, I haven't had any issues. But for me, the scariest thing, I'd rather see an apparition, which I have one time, going from an island, a kitchen island, into a wall at a friend's house here. That didn't bother me as much. I seen the Hat Man one time. That didn't bother me as much. But to hear those voices, when people experience the paranormal, like it's a hard thing for somebody who hasn't to understand how weird it is. And so when you tell me that you see those things, it hits personal with me because of my experiences. So when you said you see and hear that is legit to me. Yeah. And I know it is.
Yeah, I mean, the paranormal stuff's really fun. It really is.
It's scary, dude.
Yeah, it is. We end up doing this bar. Let me rephrase it. It's an art studio that was a brothel.
Okay.
And well, it was a bar, but it was a bar brothel. But now it's like the downstairs and upstairs,
two different worlds,
art studios and stuff like that. So I'm in the room. There's two female ghost investigators, and I'm in the room with them. Okay, and I'm standing up against the wall, and they're just trying to contact one of the girls. And I'm not kidding. I mean, cross my heart, a hand just went like this.
Oh, yeah.
My face. I was like, and I smelled the perfume.
Dude.
Right? Yeah. And the girls smelled the perfume and stuff. And I said, somebody just put their hand across my face like that.
I caressed you. Yeah.
And they said, they asked, like, who was it that did this, and it came up with a name. This woman's name come up, and they said, "Why did you do that?" And they're on a ghost box, right?
Okay.
And the ghost box came back as, because I want him.
Right. So the lady of the night is doing her residual.
I'm like, do not go home with me. Do not go home with me.
You were not allowed to go home. I was 8, dude, when I had poltergeist encounter. When I was 8, and I was laying on my bed, there's a space between the wall and the bed there, for like mold and shit. And there's a door slammed in my face, lights and stuff. But I had that similar thing where it felt like a hand reached up, and I swear to God, Jody, put it square on my chest at 8. Mm-hmm. I jumped out of that bed, literally like Wile E. Coyote, just jumped out of bed. It is so surreal. And recently, I had my shirt tugged on in the middle of the street here in Mexico when I was standing at a liquor store getting a 6-pack. Like, I was sitting there next to my girlfriend. There's a guy to my right about 2 feet away, 2-3 feet away from me. She's standing next to me. Hey, put the money back in the wallet. I'm getting it. And it felt like, it felt like a little girl or something just grabbed on my shirt and just tugged it twice. And I go, did you touch me? No. It is a weird thing, man. And there is just no, how would you say it, like, scientific method or scientific explanation for things like that. Right. But they are real, dude.
Yeah, it's weird because the house we live in, when we first bought it, like, if you stand at the top of the steps looking down into the basement, you see like an outline of a human and a dog. I'm not kidding. But when you go down and look at it, you can't see it. But you can only see it when you're at the top of the steps, right?
Makes sense to me, dude.
Yeah. I'm like, what is it? So we talked to the neighbor. The neighbor said, yeah, this guy would always get a dog, and all of a sudden the dog's gone. and then he ends up with a new dog. You know,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
and
weird.
yeah, and then he ends up dying. You
Uh-huh.
know, and it's just weird. I mean, but you can't see it now. But for like 3 years, you were able to see this outline of a man laying there, and the dog laying there was. I mean, we would have people over and say, "What do you see?" And they're like, "It's a guy
Really?
laying down a dog, And
Like
so,
a dinner party trick?
yeah, I mean, it was. We used to, yeah, we had every time we had someone over, we say, "Hey, what do you see down there?" And but like you said, it's at the point where it's literally gone now. But um, Max would dig in the yard, and you find like all these bones, just like little ones about this big, and stuff. And it's just like, dude, you need to stop. God forbid you dig a body up or,
Dude,
or
I went on a trip here with a guy. He goes, "Hey man, you want to come with me? I know this place where there's an old hacienda where they used to make rope out of vines and stuff here, and there's an old church and a pyramid." I was like, "Shit, you got me, dude. A pyramid? Let's go." So we went there. We checked out the whole nothing. He takes me to this church, right? This old church. The roof is caved in, right? And he goes, "You see these blocks? They stole this from the pyramid down the road. This is all in Spanish." I go, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
We walk into this church. Under the altar, it's an old concrete floor, and you can see where the floor is broken up. I swear to God, Jody, in the floor, you can see rib cage bones and femur
Oh yeah.
bones. And he goes, and I asked him, "Okay, first of all, I got to get out of here." And I said, "Hey, I'm not here to disrespect." I say this out loud in English. "I'm not here to disrespect anybody. This is where your resting place is. I'm out of here. Okay, no disrespect, man." When he got out of there, I asked him, I go, "What's that all about?" He goes, "Yeah, in the old days, the church was such a big thing here that people wanted to feel closer to God by being buried under the altar."
Yeah.
And then we go later to a pyramid, and it's like off the beaten path, and you can see where they took the stones off some of the littler ones, and it's one of those places, Jody. I can either confirm or deny that on my actual property there are Mayan ruins, like
I'm
like
sure there is.
like a circle that's flat. It's on a ridge top on my property. It comes down, flat spot, circle.
We got a report. You know what like a pud wedgie is?
Yes, a puck wedgie.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mound State Park in Indiana. Okay, has a lot of sightings of the pud wedgies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you go into the park, the Native American tribe that was in that area put these, they're like, I don't know, 10, 20 different monuments that are over there. I can't remember.
Like little mounds or something, huh?
Yeah, they're to scare off the pud wedgies, and apparently it's not working. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had a report as late as November of last year. One of the employees driving in, and they see these little things on the side of the road, and they're running, and people are talking about their tents getting set on fire, and they're they see their personal stuff being pulled, running, in the grass and stuff. These little creatures, and they're describing them as like little people,
Like what size?
Yeah.
Like what size? Like what? Like a foot tall? 2 foot tall?
No, right around about a foot tall.
Oh, that's even smaller than.
Yeah.
So here they have a thing called Aleutians, which I was referring to earlier, and I there's so many stories of these things here. So they have these larger properties here, and there's a lot of caves here. It's a limestone outcrop. That's what the Yucatan is. There's no rivers. It's all underground. That's these cenotes where they go swimming and stuff, the tourists. And so there's a lot of these caves here, and they kept it was a guy's uncle and his friend. They were in the backyard, and they kept hearing something, and it's like a half-acre piece of property that's like kind of narrow, maybe 40 feet across, but it goes back a long way. And he goes, "Yeah, there's a cave back there." He goes, "They kept hearing something." He goes, "Check this out." He gets a little glass, puts a little beer in it, takes a cigarette, lights it, puts it next to the thing. He said this thing came out, sipped the beer, started smoking the cigarette. The dude freaked out, left. And there's a thing that happens when you see these things where people actually get like fevers and stuff. Some people actually perish from it. Like this is not like oh, once. This is like a very common occurrence here that I've heard many times. There's a cemetery here that you can go to. It's about a half hour away. It's called Pomuch. And it happens, it's not Halloween, but it's the day after. It's called Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, which you might have heard of before. They will take their loved ones out of the cemetery, out of their crypts and tombs, clean them off. If they have hair and fingernails and other things, they're oh, that's great because the family member wants to stick around. And they put them out in a box, candles, put some food up, put some beer up, and I'll have a party at the cemetery. And you, as a tourist, can go around and see all their family members. This place is it's one of those places, Jody. and I'm here, man. I don't know, man. There's
Something
things
you'll never
I
see
have
in
plans.
America.
I have plans. What it used to be, man. You know, in the old days, you remember there's the death photos that they used to do in the 1800s. We had some weird stuff too that we did. You know, because the Mayans used to leave their family members after they perished out for like the buzzards and crows. Then the Spanish come and said, "You can't do that, dude." And then like, okay, after 3 years, can we take them out? They were like, "Yeah, you can do that." But so that's why there's this mixture of like Catholicism and this, ancient, Native American, which the Mayans are, like cultures mixed together, and you get a lot of weirdness. There's a lot of like witch doctors, and every other person here's a witch. It's weird. It's weird.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
But I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it because it's always been an interest of mine because of my experiences. But these cryptids, man, someone knows that I'm into this. This is what I do. This is, doing this podcast. And she was like, "Hey, check this out." So it was a Facebook post, and it's about an hour and a half away from me. And I've been on this road before. This person said I was riding on a motorcycle with my son. We're headed to this town called Escarcega. And I was on the side of the highway because there's the 18-wheeler. It's like a 2-lane road, but it's basically a highway, and they will literally run you over here. So I'm on the side, kind of putting along, and I see this thing, and it scared the hell out of me. And it was like a huge dog, kind of weird creature. And this is the only picture I can find that kind of represents, and it was an AI version of a Dogman.
Oh, yeah.
And then underneath of that, people are writing, "Oh, yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this here, there, at the power plant here." And I was like, the power plant in where I live, dude, that's 15 minutes from here.
Yeah.
So that's, I was like, whoa, they're here too.
Oh, yeah. We talked with a couple guys from the U.S. Border Patrol that have seen these things along the border. And, they're like, you stay away from them. You stay away from them. They'll kill you. And one of them said, they found immigrants that were coming across the border that were just torn apart,
just mangled. Yeah,
by these things.
That I haven't heard yet. I would love to talk to one of those agents.
Yeah,
that talk to that.
Yeah, they're real. They're real skittish.
Yeah, I can imagine
because they know these things are down there. There's one particular part of the border where there's a lot of heavy activity, and a lot of the immigrants that come over will not come over through this area anymore because they know about it.
Wow.
He won't tell me what part of the border it is, but he said, "I can tell you this. We put a large concentration of, personnel in this particular area now, where it's a permanent station,
Okay.
Just imagine, a bunch of prehab buildings just showing up overnight in an area.
Right.
Okay. It was something like that. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right.
So
I'm reading.
So when they do their patrols at night, most agents are all by themselves. Okay. It's only one. They do 2 at night in this particular area.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you.
Well, the I knew the one agent. I knew him personally because way back, we were both humane officers here in the city. Okay. and he ended up leaving to take a job with the Border Patrol. So he's been at the Border Patrol probably going on 35 years. I mean, he was young enough that, where he went on, and he's still there. He said, they're not going to get rid of me. He goes, I have over my 20, I have over my 30, and, I'm not going anywhere. He loves the job.
He loves his job. It's not.
Yeah,
I
so
always say that, man.
Yeah, he's kind of up there and stuff. But he was the one that was kind of told me about what was going on down there. Because we kept talking. He knows what I do, and he's like, dude, you're not going to believe some of this stuff that these things that are down there and stuff. They're dogmen. They know what they are. He's seen them. Everybody have seen them, and they're like, when you see them, if you're going down and you see them, you turn the other way if you can.
Wow.
Do not go. I mean, because they'll see it as a challenge.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. The Jody, we are almost an hour in. I want you to talk a little bit about the North. One more time for us, buddy. I had you on the first time. Could you tell us a little bit about the North American Dogman Project, its purpose, and what it's here to serve, or what it does?
Yeah, the North American Dogman Project. We are, and I'm not bragging. We're like the largest dogman research organization out there. Our website's in the top 100.
Wow,
which is
crazy.
Which is really good. I mean, what's weird? GoDaddy said, you get more activity than some of the porn sites.
Jesus, Jody, this is a family show, Jody.
Well, I know, but I thought that was funny. Okay.
Yes, of course.
That was funny that they said that. We collect a lot of data. We have a analysis group that got information and kind of figures out how to set it up on side through the seasons, through time, through like police, military, civilian. And like I said, if you had a sighting, you want to follow a report, go on our website, www.NorthAmericanDogmanProject.com. Fill the report out. If you have a question, you just want to ask a basic question, go to, right there.
Right here it is, guys.
Yeah, the email, which is nadpquestions@hotmail.com. Send us a question if you interested. Go up the page a little bit.
I'm at the top, Jody.
No, scroll down. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The front page there. That's like just basic information. And we have some really good stuff that's on the front page there. If you scroll down, this, like, we have some stuff that came out of Michigan here.
Jen Jacobs, the wonderful Jen Jacobs. I've had her on. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And it's a kind of like a little slideshow, which is really good. And then we have these local police officers that had sightings.
Cincinnati.
Kind of a slideshow there. This is the land between the lakes. This is one of our best that we have. There was this group of individuals that were out doing an investigation, and they caught this creature on thermal camera. And if you could see, it's holding a young one.
Yes.
You can see it clear. And what's unique, like, stay still for a minute.
Yes, sir.
And see how, go up a little bit. So you can see, no, the other way. Keep going right there. Now, like how you have a child and the child's backed up against you and you pick the child up. What's the child do? The child brings its knees in.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that's exactly what that little one's doing there. It's bringing its knees in. So this is a type 3, which is canine looking, but the legs are more human than they are like a typical dog or a wolf, where they're not backwards. and you can see on here how that is. Yeah.
Yeah, you can become a member, as you can see here. It's become a member. You can go over here and reach out people. It's a North American Dogman Project, NAPD. It's made up of volunteers in many states of the continental United States and growing. The majority of its members have backgrounds in fields of law enforcement, military, and other crypto groups. Most are experienced observers, hunters, and possess good tracking experience and ability. The NAPD members have professional technical knowledge in handling equipment and evidence collection purposes. Our team is available whenever needed. Go over and check it out, guys. The North American Dogman Project.com.
Yep.
Jody. Oh, as always, man. I thank you so very much for coming on today. You're helping out, trying to figure out what this thing is or what these things are. There's many different types. And we want people to step up, try to talk to each other, try to figure out what it is, because in the end, we're trying to protect our loved ones as well as ourselves.
Exactly.
Right? So I appreciate it so very much that you came on and talked with me today. Of course, anytime anybody you want to reach out and come on and talk to me, you can go ahead and send them my way, man, and I'll be more than willing to talk to them.
Yeah, I sent you a few people, and I'll send you.
Yeah, I've had them on. Some of them said no, but it happens, you know.
Yeah,
and it's all good, man. Jody, thank you so very much for coming.
All right, brother. Yeah,
all right, guys. Remember, we are the guy. We are aware. I love you all, and enjoy the rest of your day.